Hey YouTube, this will be a video of the history of my Harley. And I guess the story actually starts back when I was in junior high. One day I was standing at the bus stop waiting for the bus, and a motorcycle rode by. And at the time I didn't think a whole lot of it other than thinking that it was the most perfect machine. I mean, the guy was riding on this bike that had frame, two wheels, and a motor, and that was it. As I think back, I'm sure that it was a hardtail chopper, but I remember it just left an impression on me as just being the perfect machine because it was just there to get him down the road. And that thought has always stuck with me. I think that's one of the reasons that I love motorcycles. Also, when I was in high school, my dad had a lot of motorcycles, and he had a couple of Harleys, and he would let me ride his Harleys, and we would go for rides. I remember how much I just loved riding Harleys. So all the way through college, I dreamed of someday having a Harley. So as soon as I graduated from college and got a job, the first thing I did is I bought a Harley. And here you see a 1981 FLHC, which is what I bought. I actually bought it from a second uncle, and I just love this bike. But being a Harley, you got to work on them. And I love mechanics, so I pulled the bike apart and rebuilt it many times, making little improvements here and there. The bike never broke down on me while I was driving. I mean, it was very reliable, but you can see I'd always get it back together, and I rode this thing everywhere. I mean, I rode all over the Northwest, took it on a cross country to the East Coast and back once in a week, and I went camping on it and just rode this bike everywhere. I mean, it was really a fun bike. I just enjoyed it a lot. And at the same time that I was having so much fun with my Harley, my dad was having fun with a 1950 Cessna 178 tail dragger. And here you can see him landing on a dirt strip that he had just built at a boys' home that he worked at. And kind of like I was just having a blast with my Harley, my dad was having a blast with his airplane. I mean, he flew it everywhere, and I didn't think Dad would ever want to sell it because he loved it so much. And it was really, really a cool airplane. You can see a lot cooler than my Harley, as cool as it was. In 1994, on my way to the coast one weekend, I got rear-ended by a moving van. The moving van hit me hard enough that I hit the car in front of me, which hit the car in front of it, and the bike was totaled. I decided to buy it back from the insurance company and started disassembling it so I could rebuild it. You can see I'm accumulating parts in my living room here. So the frame that I bought did not have any tabs on it. So I had to weld, where the gas tank was going to be, the foot pegs, the fenders. I mean, everything had to be welded up before I could paint it. And so once I got everything welded on, I had the frame powder coated. Powder coating was the only thing I didn't do myself. And there you can see it's I'm starting to assemble it. So it's kind of fun to assemble it because I got to decide, what year parts I wanted on it and how I wanted the bike to look. I mean, it was really fun to build a bike from scratch, basically, so that it looked exactly the way you wanted it. So this is the paint booth that I built in my garage to paint it with, and there you can see after painting the fenders and the gas tank. And once I got that done, I had a beautiful bike. I was really impressed. It came out a lot better than I thought it would. Not that I doubted myself, but I designed it so that I could put everything back on, so all of the original parts could still be bolted up. So basically, I had kind of a fat boy, a dresser with a Springer seat, a chopper, all in one. And it was really a fun bike, and I really enjoyed riding it. But in the year that it took to rebuild it, I discovered motorcycle racing. I mean, actually, I guess I discovered sport bikes. That's me, number 27 there. And there I am using my head. I discovered motorcycle racing, which I fell in love with, which consumed a lot of my time, and sport bikes. And I found myself not riding the Harley as much because I'd kind of changed my style of riding. And about the same time, my dad found himself not flying as much. So one day, my brother called and said, "Hey, Mark, Dad is thinking of selling the airplane and buying a Harley." I got to thinking, shoot, I have a Harley that I'm not riding very much, and called Dad, and we got to talking and worked out a trade where I traded my Harley for his airplane, along with some cash, of course. But so here Dad is delivering the airplane to Beaverton. He lived in Spokane at the time. And so that I could take flying lessons. So shortly after this, I started taking flying lessons and actually learned to fly in that airplane. And so kind of sad to see Dad delivering it for the last time, but kind of cool that I was starting off. And then Dad came to get his Harley as part of the trade. So this is a video that Dad took when he came to pick up the Harley.
Okay, this is all the stuff.
Are you sure you're recording this time?
See how he treats me?
The button's on.
See how he treats me? That's because when we were coming down, somebody forgot to hit the record button, and
I was driving along, you know, and he's recording.
only I wasn't recording.
But he wasn't recording, so I still my brakes. I'm like, oh! You know, so he freaked out.
And you can see I had accumulated an awful lot of parts over the years, just rebuilding it, changing it. Harleys are fun because you can really swap a lot of parts on those old bikes. And you can see I just gave Dad piles of parts in with this trade here. And, you know, a lot of fun. I mean, I really enjoyed having that Harley and, you know, making all those changes over the years. And of course, old choppers were made out of cruiser bikes. I mean, you would just strip them down, and that's why they're called choppers. And so, you know, it's cool because you could swap this bike back and forth to being a cruiser or a chopper in about a weekend, or a little less than a weekend. I mean, really a fun bike to have. And that trade took place in 2005. And 10 years later, 2015, Dad told me that he wanted to give me the Harley back as my inheritance. And so he and my brother came down from Spokane with the trailer and to return my Harley. And it was pretty cool, you know, after all these years to get my old Harley back. I mean, it's actually really cool.
Let me show you when you go to start it.
Yeah.
Turn the gas on before you forget. And what you want to do, as you're cranking on it, you just go like this, just enough. Otherwise, it'll flood.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
I usually start it when I'm standing next to it, but it's real easy that way.
So here we are a little later in the day. That's my brother Bruce filming from my DRZ. And we were riding down to the motorcycle shop to pick up some rings for another bike that Bruce has taken home with him that we actually rebuilt later that day. But you can see the Harley is just as cool as it was back in the 80s when I bought it originally. So really a fun bike. I mean, I am really looking forward to riding it some more, and I just can't thank my dad enough for giving it back to me. And I am really going to have fun riding this over the next who knows how many years. That's the story of my Harley from the late 80s to 2015. So thanks for watching.